What's happening, Hoodlum Gang? Welcome back to my channel. This your boy Hoodie from the Hood, aka your friend from that big old end. I got a very special guest. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. We got another guest off to the side, you know what I mean? But he can introduce himself if he want to too. But go ahead, bro. Introduce yourself.
Baby Stick, Crip Sticc from Rolling Folks neighborhood.
You wanna tell him who you is since you in the Alright. What I like to do is start from the beginning all the way up until today. So you already gave me your name. Where was you born at?
San Diego, right here, San Diego.
Alright, and when you left the hospital, where did you go to? What's the first area you went to, if you can remember that?
My whole life is based on 47th Street. I had one grandmother that stayed off of 47th and Magnus, and my other grandmother stayed off 47th and Harley. So, shit, that's all. That 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 block radius was it for me, you know, for the most part.
And for the people who don't understand, 47th and Magnus will be considered what area?
That's Lincoln Park.
Lincoln Park, like by, like the Hatfields.
That's the Hatfield. I mean, it's the start of the Hatfield. So
right.
It's not the start, but that's the street it's on. You make that left. If you're coming from the trenches, you make that left. Just keep going up. That's where you're gonna be at.
And 47th and Harley is where?
Shit, it's the 40 Mecca. It's where it all started.
Definitely. Definitely. I try to tell people on other videos, if niggas didn't go to Harley, man, I don't know what you was doing. I don't care who you was, you had to show up right there at a point in time, even in my era. Right. So, I'm guessing you went to Meade and Choias?
No, I didn't go to Meade. So, as a kid, you know, mom's ended up, you know, she had her own struggles in life, and so I went to Knox, really in kindergarten, right? I went to Knox, maybe preschool. I went to Knox, because we used to live in Salola apartments, you know what I mean, with my mom, and you know, from Knox in preschool, kindergarten. My mom's mom, my grandmother, lived on Magnus. I used to go to school with her kids, my uncle, my aunt, because they was going to St. Rita's. So I went to Catholic school for kindergarten and first grade. I went there, you know what I mean? And so I didn't go to Meade, you know what I mean? And so by that time I was already living with my pops, my grandmother in Hartley, but my pops would drop me off in the morning, and my grandmother would make sure I got to school, you know, my mom's mom, you know what I mean? And so, you know, the first year of kindergarten and first grade I went to St. Rita's.
All right, and where'd you end up after that?
After that, second grade, that's where Choias starts at. I went to Choias, and only went to Choias from 2nd to 6th.
All right, you know, and my viewers know, I'm still finding my footing in this, so I missed a question. What year were you born?
I was born in 1981.
1981. Yeah. So everything you talking about, mid-80s. I like to keep a timeline.
Yeah, mid-80s. So everything from that point is still mid-80s.
All right, so you said second grade. You got where?
I went to Choias.
You went to Choias.
So, you know, by that time, I'm full-fledged with my pops, my grandmother, you know what I mean, my dad's mom. You know what I mean? So she lived off, you know, my street is 46th Street. You know what I mean? But it's off 47th and Harley.
Right. Which is in the back of Choias, where it's a canyon right there.
Canyon is there, so
yeah.
I used to be able to see the school from my pad.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you get to Choias, this about maybe 86, 87, something like that.
Maybe something like that, because I think I graduated. I think I left there like 91, like 92, maybe 92 or 93. I think I left Choias, so. It was early late 80s.
All right, so when you got to Choias, I know you meeting other kids from the community, and was you aware of, did you have any family members, or did they have any family members that was from the hood? Did you know that the hood was a thing? Because when I went to Choias, I knew what neighborhood Crip was. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't no secret. And then you living on Harley, I know you saw activity walking outside of your door to school.
For sure. Shit, walking outside is crazy, right? Because at that time, the set was so turned up where the American Legion is or was, and in between that and Foodorama, which was the liquor store right there, is a dirt lot. And in that dirt lot, they used to have a mobile police station, a trailer. There was a police station right there in the set. It was like a substation, and they would come and go every day, but the set was so turned up that, yeah, it was right there. But as far as...
Is that the same police station that they moved down by the Charlie station?
Yeah, it ended up being that. They moved it down there, yeah. It was that, yeah. But it was stationed right there in the
dirt lot. That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And the motherfucker still was cracking like, the motherfucker didn't give a fuck about none of that, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it wasn't stationed there like every day, but that motherfucker would be there.
They'd just come set up shop from time to time. That's crazy. That's the first time I heard that out of all the homies I didn't talk to. I guess they missed that part.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it probably they was gone when it happened.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know what I mean? But I vividly remember that, homie. You know what I mean? I vividly remember homies, 15, 20 homies on their knees with their hands behind their back, nigga, you know what I mean? Getting hemmed up by the police, you know what I mean? Like, you know, smoking, squabbling right then and there in the set, you know, so shit like that. Yeah.
So, what homies did you go to school with?
So, in second grade, when I first hit that motherfucker, I don't recall no homies. Like, it was no homies that I went with or ended up coming up banging with me. You know what I mean? I didn't go to school with none of those homies initially. I mean, there was some homies that was a little older than me. It was like probably in the 4th or 5th grade. Right. But they was more on the top end, and I was on the bottom, so I didn't personally know them. You know what I mean? But I thought I was Crip then. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't hear about the set, I just heard about Crip. You know what I mean? That's all I knew was Crip.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I didn't know about the Foley's. I just knew about Crip. You know what I mean?
All right, so you go on a choice, like you said, you don't really recall homies there, but do you remember what homies was hanging out on Harley? Like coming out your house, going to Foodorama or going to the gas station or going to go play.
Nah, that was the landmark.
Right.
47th Street at the gas station was the landmark, bro. Like I used to literally walk home from school, and it would be homies sitting on the ring wall, niggas sitting on the green box. It'd be homies in the dirt field. Like they was homies on the top of the hill in the condos. It was homies in the behind like over by Guyman and all that, but in the trail that come down to 47 through the back way, not come around on 47 off of Guyman, but like nigga through that back way.
Yeah, I heard about it. I obviously I'm too young, but the older homies always talk about that.
Then it was homies in the hole.
Right.
You know what I mean? So literally, homie, when I came up, it was the homies had 3 different spots on 47, like with different set of homies, all on 47. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, that's how cracking 47 was when I as a little nigga when I came up. You know what I mean? Yeah.
All right, so eventually you go to middle school.
But elementary, I was with this fucking shit.
Yeah, you was already.
Yeah, by 5th, 6th grade, we was fucking crippin'.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't no, you know what I'm saying? It was me and one homie that was my age, homie, that, you know, we was the 2 youngest homies at that time, you know what I mean, from the set. No, for sure that, you know what I mean? Because from up top, and I was on the bottom, you know what I mean? But we went to the same school, so that was who I thugged it with. You know
do you care to say what homie that was?
Little Tal. You know, it was me and Cuz. I'm saying?
All right.
Cause from up top, and don't get me wrong, it was homies older than us, 3-4 years older than us.
Yeah, like Ratchet and them.
Right,
Yeah.
Ratchet and them and so when I came to Troy's, that's why I say it was homies there, but like they was already leaving. So like I didn't know them. I didn't have no introduction with them because they was from the top end and I was from the bottom. You know what I mean? So me and the homie Lil Tal ended up, we was 5th, 6th grade. We was in the same grade. So when we did come together, it was like, yeah, you know what I mean?
And then by the time you got to the 5th, 6th grade, did you see new young kids coming in that you can remember like, oh, that's Whoop-de-Whoop? Or you didn't pay attention to the little kids like that?
I didn't pay attention to them because I was too busy trying to be with the older niggas.
Right.
So I wasn't worried about no kids, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I wasn't seeing them.
I bet you was one of the homies that remember going there with you that was looking at you and you wasn't paying attention to them.
Nah, it's homies that I did go to school with that, it was some homies that because whether it was family or whatever, I remember them, but they wasn't into it like we was at that time, you know what I mean? And some did get into it and some didn't.
All right, so eventually you leave Troy's. Did you go to Gompers or did you go somewhere else?
No, I went to Persian.
What's that?
Persian Middle School.
Where's that at?
San Carlos.
Oh, you got sent out the
so
way.
It's two schools out there. It was Lewis and Persian.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I don't know why, you know what I mean? But that's where the homie wanted to go. So we like, fuck it, cuz that's what we taking this Crip to. We went to Persian, you know what I'm saying? And so, nigga, they had, it was a mixture. It wasn't no Crip school, it wasn't no Damu school. It was just, we was getting bussed out there.
Right.
You know what I mean? I went to Gompers for summer school, but I ain't never go to Gompers.
So you went to that school in San Carlos. You said it was Damus, it was Crips, it was a mixture. What was that like running into people from different communities claiming something else? Was that an issue or was it just
off the dribble? Off the dribble was an issue because we was Crip. You know what I mean? And so, niggas flexing they muscle off the jump. You know what I mean? But to say that, how we end up being probably in that position, because I kind of followed the homie lead as far as going out there, but you had, but it was homies that was older than us. Ras talked about going to Persian. You know what I'm saying? So they was already going out there. So we was kind of following that lead, even though I didn't know them personally. I was following that lead. You see what I'm saying? Because like Blue, Big Tal, RIP, you know what I mean? Like, they was there. Or they had just left there, and now they was going to Patrick Henry because Persian is like the segue to Patrick Henry.
Yeah, I know Patrick Henry is not too far from Lewis. It's like up and around the corner.
So Lewis and Persian was like, that would be your high school.
Right.
If you stayed, you know what I mean? For the people that lived out there, that was gonna be the high school they went to. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So
yeah, off the dribble, yeah, flexing the muscle. You know what I mean? Niggas turning shit down. I don't know where everybody's situation was, but we was really in the set. We was really from the set.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, it was a little, the bite was a little bit different, even if niggas just wanted to act like they was from somewhere. We was really in the set. You know what I mean? So we was really from the set. Like,
y'all was taking it
some
serious.
Some of these niggas was just claiming.
Right.
That's what you want to consider. That's what we called it back then. Like,
right.
Like if I was the bang type shit, you know what I mean? But it wasn't like.
The homie used to always say that. I used to tell him, nigga, stop saying that. Just say you from the hood, bro. Because you hanging with me, you wear blue every day, they gonna get on you.
Yeah, they gonna get on you anyway.
Every time we introduce ourselves to somebody, he'd be like, I don't bang, but if I was, I'd be from the hood. And you toss the setup with me every day, everybody see that. That was Baby Tie Stick. He gonna see this nigga. Like, bro, what the fuck wrong with you, bro? But so y'all going there, y'all doing y'all thing. Did you last there or did you?
I went there the 7th grade, and I went there in the 8th grade. As soon as I got out of the 8th grade, nigga, like I was in the 8th. It was 95. I was in the 8th grade in 95, and got out for summer school. And I got busted on, and I got shot 3 times. You know what I mean? So when it was time to go back, they was like, "Oh hell nah, like, we ain't taking that." You know what I mean? Like, what my lifestyle was outside of school,
Yeah.
they wasn't. And by that time, I was full-fledged Crip. You know what I mean? So You know, it was like, it was only a matter of time each way.
So, Ratchet told that story when y'all got shot. Did you see that?
Yeah, I seen it. It was crazy, right? Because when he said it, really, he kind of got a little bit of, it was how it started. So we was on our way to East Dago to go buy some 2 blowers. You know what I mean? So we on our way to go buy the blowers. And so like I'm just keeping it hood. You know what I mean? Like we was on the bus and there was 2 niggas flamed up, or burgundy, maybe flame burgundy. And so me and Cuz on the bus, but he fresh home from VQ. You know, he fresh home from Vision Quest. And he's 17, I'm 14. But I'm extra, right? And so we get off the bus, cause them niggas get off the bus. We had like a couple more stops. So you know the stops wasn't that long. You know what I mean? But we could have probably went up 2 more stops and been right where we needed to be. But because them niggas got off, I'm like, cuz we finna get on these niggas. You know what I mean? We finna get on these niggas, cuz. And so when they got off the bus, they got off at the front, we get off on the back. And so when they got off on the back, in the front, they met a nigga. And so when we walked past him, we finna get on him. When we walked past him, the nigga brandished the blower. So niggas like, ooh, so we don't get on him. You know what I mean? We ain't do no banging on him, no nothing. Niggas like, ooh, they got the blower, bro. You know what I mean? And we on our way to go buy 2 blowers.
Right.
I got $150. I just let you know how it was back then. Nigga, like, nigga, I think I might have had 150, 200. Niggas 100. They was talking about charging nigga 100 apiece for the two pistols. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I tell Raz, I'm like, check this out. I'm like, we can take that nigga blower, bro. I said, we take this nigga blower.
He did say it was your idea too.
Yeah, I'm like, nigga, we gonna take this nigga blower, and then guess what? Nigga, we finna go pass on these niggas for the other 2 blowers. Nigga, like, you know, we come from a hood, you know, jacket. So that's all I'm thinking about. Like, nigga, we finna pass on these niggas too. So we finna go home with three burners, and I'm finna keep my bread. Cause nigga, I'm like, nigga, we get this blower, nigga, draw down the niggas for the other 2 blowers. Nigga, fuck it, niggas. That was my mentality, you know what I mean? My thought process, my idea. So he like, I got the blower. I'm like, cuz, grab that nigga, bro, and I'm gonna go in his pocket, bro. You know what I mean? So the nigga had the weed sack. So we like, hey, you got some weed, bro? He like, yeah. Like, nigga, let's go to the back, nigga, sell the nigga some weed. So say he throw us he go up to the back, and the homie grab it. So like, you know, I'm counting the bread. So I pull the bread out, and I got my head down. I'm like looking at the homie. I'm grabbing. But I don't get the time to put the bread back in my pocket. You know what I mean? So he grabbed me. I'm like, oh, I try to stuff my bread back in my pocket. And so when he grabbed me, he like, you know, like a bear hug, so to speak. And he kind of like raised me. And so the nigga was tall, bro. He was taller than both of us. You know what I mean? I'm 14, so I was a little nigga. And so he grabbed me, and when he grabbed me, the nigga kind of like kick off of me. So I go to rush him. He kind of like picked him up, so the nigga like up in the air. So the nigga stick his feet out, kind of like kick off on me. So when he kick off on me, the homie slammed me. Bang! And he had a hoodie on. So it wasn't like the hoodies like this where it's 2 pockets. It was the one that went straight through. You know what I mean? The pocket in the front.
Yeah.
So that's where the blower was at.
Oh,
so
and he grabbed him like this, so he
dumped him. Boom. It don't even happen like that. When he dumped him, boom, the blower fall out the hood. It fall out. Bang. But he like this, so he get his hands on it. He get the crack. But when he slam him, bang, they both go down. So like Raz didn't just like slam him in on top of it. Like they both fall. Boom. So they laying there. He didn't kick me back. He get the blower and get the fire. The first shot hit me in the foot. So I'm like, ooh, I feel it off the dribble. You know what I'm saying? And so with the shots now, every shot is hitting niggas. And it ain't even, I guess you gotta get a nigga credit because it was only a 32, it was only 6 shots.
Right.
Nigga, we got hit with 5 of the 6. So, bam, he shoot me. So the other shots that was going, the first shot hit me. I'm assuming, because then the second one must have hit Raz, the second and third. Because by that time, he done got about a Raz grab, you know what I'm saying? He get up on me, but I'm hobbling. He get the pop. He pop me again, the same side, I fall. He get over me. Like, nigga, get over me, pop, pop, bust me again, and then got the like talking wet, like nigga, why? He talking to me on the, I'm like, shit, it's over. And the last time he pulled that motherfucker, it was a click, nigga. All the shells was gone, so he just had 5. He was on 32, so I'm pretty sure that, it wasn't no extendo and all that shit back then, nigga. It was just, if you had 6 shots, you had 6 shots, nigga. That was it, nigga. The best you might get is another clip.
Now, was he actually a Damu?
Nah.
Oh.
He was like he wasn't from nowhere. He didn't have no affiliation, no Crip in his blood.
Right.
You know what I mean? He didn't have no affiliation. You know what I mean? It's crazy because I caught a violation for that shit. Because the police came, and it was like, can you ID him? I told him, nigga, I'm a Crip, nigga. Whatever we do, we gonna do this in the streets, my nigga. Like, and they violate me for that, homie. You know what I'm saying? They violated me for that, homie. I got violated for going to the Del Mar Fair and I was shot. They got a curfew, 6 o'clock curfew, and they violated me for that, for getting shot. Yeah, but that's how it happened, though. Yeah.
So you get violated, and what was your first case? What was you on probation for in the first place?
My first time I ever went to jail was at Gompers. Yep, I went to Gompers, and that was our thing. Shit, we just don't go up here and get into it with these niggas. You know what I mean? Because it was in the set, and so I ended up getting caught with a knife, and I went to juvenile hall the very first time. That was '94. I didn't go to juvenile hall, but I got caught with a BB gun at Choias. And so that kind of like started the snowball effect, so to speak. I was in the 6th grade at that time. In the 7th grade, that I got caught at Gompers, you know what I mean? Got out, but they didn't give me no charges for it. They just released me. And then I caught a robbery assault with a deadly weapon at 47 Trolley Station. I was 13, 94. Called the assault, deadly weapon robbery, and it was over from there.
Now, I forgot to ask you, did you already have the name Baby Crip Sticc at this time? And how did you get that name?
Yeah, and so it was crazy, right? Because I was so motherfucking young, and I was trying to find names and shit. You know what I'm saying? And from the street I grew up on, like I said, that was the 40 Mecca, so like I just knew the homies on that street initially coming up as far as my big homies, you know what I'm saying? So like, Crip Sticc was one of them names, homie, you know what I mean? Dice was one of them names, homie, and so, I kind of latched myself on to the Crip Sticc name, and really like, the homage of it and being homegrown, I was able to, reach out to my homie Lil Crip Sticc. He was in YA already. I'm like, cuz, I'm trying to press that name. You know what I mean? So I reached out to cuz, homie. And then a few homies came on, like, come from the call, cuz, I'm right, cuz, make sure that you really Baby Sticc. You know what I mean? So, I was, by that time, I was Baby Sticc already.
All right, so you caught the violation. Did that send you to YA, or was it something else?
No. So I caught the first case. That was '94, bro. I was 13. You know what I'm saying? I went to juvenile hall again for the 2nd time, and I ended up going home. They shot me up, put me on house arrest. So I ended up being on house arrest. This was probably like, so this is before I got shot though. You know what I mean? So when I first went to juvenile hall, I was 13. I got shot, I was 14. You know what I mean? So I was already going to juvenile hall. So I was on house arrest, and I took, at that time, they had a 90-day stop. I don't know if they still got that program in juvenile hall, but
nah, they don't.
It's 90-day stop. So you go to camp for no less than 30 days and a maximum of 90. So it just kind of depends on how you do your bid. You know what I mean? So I get to camp, shit, I'm 13. Those niggas in there 16, 17, you know what I mean? Like, I was getting, now I was starting to get, my first real interaction with niggas kind of similar to me as far as, or niggas similar to me, or niggas on the same page as me as far as gangbanging from the other side.
Right.
You know what I mean? Cause like, when niggas going to school, some of them niggas wasn't really in a hood.
Right.
Probably wasn't really in the streets, but now, hitting juvenile hall and camp, these are some niggas that's just like me, but from on the other side. You
Right.
know what I mean? So
They turned.
Yeah, they turned too. You know what I mean? So, you know, that was my first bar. You know what I mean? Ran into. That was my first introduction to Deep Valley Crip. Camp. You know what I mean? And so, but it was so crazy because like I'm the youngest nigga there. I'm 13, bro. I'm 13. These niggas is 15, 16, 17. The only nigga, it was one nigga from Deep Valley that was my age. You know what I mean? And we fuck around right now to this day. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
He was the youngest nigga around my age. You know what I mean? But I was young as fuck. I'm 13, so like
You care to give him a shout out because you know they're gonna be in the comments like, what homie was it?
Yeah, the homie. You know, at the time he was Tiny T-Ski. You know what I mean? But now he nut, Tiny Nut. You know what I mean? From Deep Valley, yo. You know what I mean? But it was a gang of them. You know what I mean? It was a gang. They was deep as motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? They was bigger than us.
Right.
Like at that time, the Valley was cracking. You know what I mean? Them niggas busting on niggas and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like so they was probably like about 8 of them in there. You know what I'm saying? It was probably like 4 of us, homies. You know what I'm saying? That's far from the turf. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, you got the west side in there. You know what I mean? And
It was on. So it's safe to say you did that 90 days, right?
I did 60 plus.
Damn near. Yeah.
Yeah.
Catching write-ups for sure.
Yeah, you was squabbling in the back. Or, you know, but camps had so many pockets.
Right, you can get away with it.
Go
Yeah.
down there and get down. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they just hit the barn. You know what I mean? Get behind the barn, or depending on what unit you was in, because you know at that time it was Campo 2. You know what I mean? They didn't have Campo 3 yet, so Campo 2 was the 90-day stop. You know what I mean? Or 30-day stop. Yeah, but there was homies in there too. You know, C Loco. You know what I mean? Homie Young Deuce. You know what I mean? From the set. You know what I mean? Nigga called himself. You know, the homie called himself Tiny Bullet, where you know motherfuckers really called him Do It. You know what I mean? But it was Tiny Bullet. You know what I mean? So it was homies turned up there too. Like I niggas was talking about certain shit in the halls and camp and all that. Like shit. Nigga, I don't give a fuck what you say, nigga. Like that nigga Baby Bullet. Cubs hog and shit, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, no. Didn't nobody want to fade with Baby Bullet, bro. That nigga was running shit. He was a big nigga, bro. And you gotta know he came from 3 big brothers, all neighborhood Crips. So, he was extra with it. You know what I mean? And a hog though. So yeah.
So when you get out, cause like you said, it was only you and Lil Tal as far as like your age. Now when you get out, I'm guessing
when I get out of camp,
it's more homies.
Yeah, it's more homies.
What homies did you meet around your age when you got out?
It was already homies that my age at that time. My road dog ended up being Lil Cowboy. You know what I mean? Lil Cowboy. That was my road dog and shit. We put him on the set then, but by that time, it's Baby 47 was around. You know what I mean? Which I don't know what his situation is, but I ain't seen him arrive. You know what I mean? But Lil Cowboy was like the main one for me. You know what I mean? And so he was a big nigga though. I'm saying like he was bigger than me. You know what I mean? He was older than me. You know what I mean? But he was a big nigga, but he was with the extras too. You know what I mean? He was turned up. You know what I mean? When he came on the set, he was turned up. You know what I mean? And so but more so the homies that was older than me started to really embrace me. You know what I mean? So not so many homies still came around that was my age. It was more so like me starting out fuck with niggas that was a little older than me. You know what I mean? So now I'm starting around with homies that that I didn't know before. You know what I mean? And now I ain't just from on the bottom. Now I'm hanging up on top.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it's like that.
So when did you catch the case that sent you to YA?
So you gotta figure when I caught my first kid, I was 13. So I went to camp, got out, went to a placement called violation. Went to a placement, got out. While I ran, I AWOL from the placement. Went to camp again now for a 240-day term. Right, got out. Went to Camp Barrett when Barrett first opened. Got out, and then I got caught with a burner 4-7, and I went to Y for the Lord.
So,
By that time I'm 17.
you 17, so that's what, like 98?
98.
98. So when you go to YA, what's the first place you hit, and what was that like? Because now you're not just gelling with people from San Diego, enemies from San Diego. Now you gelling with people from LA who you might not have known about their hood, but they know about your hood and they don't like you. So what was that like?
I already knew who didn't like me.
Oh, you already knew?
Yeah.
Oh, because it was homies who went to YA previous.
My big homies, you know, like, nigga, when them niggas came home, I used to interrogate them niggas about this shit. Like, I knew I was going to Y.
Right.
Like, the homies used to be telling me, like, by that time, we turned up with this cripple, right? So, the homies used to tell me, like, nigga, tell you, nigga, they got a place called Y for you. I'm like, nigga, I already went, nigga. They told me I was too hard, nigga. They sent me on. You know what I mean? That was my response to the certain big homies, you know what I'm saying? And so I already knew about Y. So I already knew about the Hoovers, you know what I mean? Like, I already knew about, you know, that was mainly the main ones I knew about, like, you know what I mean? And so, I hit Y, me and the homie from the West Side went up there together. We was selling Poopa, rest in peace, you know what I mean? Like, that was, we went up on the bus together, all that, you know what I mean? Went in the same motherfucking cell, and homie, if I'm lying, I'm dying, homie. I'm a nigga that love this, you know, I got tired of saying my hood, homie. When I walk, I'm talking about it, even if a nigga just heard where you was from, he still gonna ask you where you from. Like, it could be a table full of niggas. A nigga be like, what's up? Where you from, bro? I'm like, I'm from neighborhood folks. I'm from such and such. All right. Next nigga gonna ask you, what's up, cuz, where you from? You know what I mean? Like, nigga, I just told this nigga, you just heard me tell this nigga. You know what I mean? But every nigga, it wasn't, niggas would ask you where you was from only because they wanted to tell you where they was from.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't really, I don't give a fuck if I heard you say it 1,000 times. Nigga, I'm finna ask you where you from so I can let you know where I'm from. That was the mentality. You know what I mean? Even if it was an alliance.
Now, did you have to specify San Diego?
Nah, I didn't specify San Diego.
Oh, you didn't?
I did not.
I'm quite sure that brought you more problems.
The reason why I didn't was because my crippin' was laced right. And so the homie Black Ice, rest in peace, you know, he gave me a lot of game before I ever went to Y. He was like, cuz, you know, we was neighborhood 40s first. You know what I'm saying? And so I ain't feel the need to attach no Dago on my shit. Nigga, I'm from the original neighborhood 40 Crips. You know what I mean? And not to exclude, you know, the LA 40s, because them niggas is on their shit. But after, you know, dialoguing with some older niggas in the feds and shit like that, you know, later on down the road, how it really ended up turning out was like, you know, they was 40s. You know, but we had the neighborhood on the name. Because, you know, they was 40s, but they hadn't put the NH on their shit yet. So
right.
That was the difference.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
and even still, the 40 part was, from what I've seen on different, was still after us. It was still like, it seemed like they didn't really start pressing like 40, that to like.
I don't know, you know what I mean? But for, like I said, you know, only for my dialogue with niggas, they had like the 40 Avenues and the Guards, you know, and they was in the 40s. You know,
but I'm saying they, and this is, you could look at it on Kev Mac, right. on Kev Mac interviews. They didn't really become one thing until about 1980, right. Because they had like different hustler sets right. over there. Right. About 1980, 81, from what he said, is when they had a meeting and they all start pressing 40s. And then they threw the neighborhood on it like around 87, 88.
Yeah, somewhere in there. I don't know exactly where it was, but so that's why I went to Y. I didn't specify Dago. You know what I mean? So I didn't specify it based on that. You know what I mean? It was like, nah, I'm neighborhood for the crib. You know, and then when it was niggas that was, I guess you consider allies or niggas that was cool with him, they'd be like, cuz, what's up with your homie such and such? I'd be like, I'm from Dago, homie. They'd be like, oh, damn. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it wasn't, you know, I didn't put the Dago on it. You know what I mean? Whenever I got hit up, I was from 40s. You know what I'm saying?
What about you? Did you specify the Dago, or you just said it's neighborhood 40s? All right, so just saying I'm from 40s or I'm from all of them, you already know that's going to that's gonna make people, even though if you said Dago, niggas still have a problem. But when you pressing like that, what was that like? Was niggas like, oh, nigga, this West Side Hoover or this BPS, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was crazy, right? Because, you know, just like, you know, times changed, so like who they was beefing with changed. You know what I mean? So at that particular time, yeah, they was always beefing with the Hoovers, right? But and so, you know, I ran into a couple niggas, Hoovers, troubles, and shit like that. You know what I mean? But it was really crazy because I had a few niggas like, this nigga I was, Crip. And so, I was like, nigga, this 40 Crip. And niggas like, cuz you ain't even in our jurisdiction, cuz. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, I was like, shit, we can run it, nigga. You know, like, cuz you ain't even in our jurisdiction. You know, so certain niggas that didn't want to fade, that was their reason for not wanting to fade. Like, cuz you ain't even in our jurisdiction. I'm like, but you need for such and such, right? They like, but it ain't even like that. All right, yeah, you know, cause, you know, one thing about it is they bigger than us. But, you know, and so whatever, how many ever busters we got, they got times 10. How many ever real niggas they got?
Right.
Or we got, they got that times 10 just because, you know, the geographic.
Right. It's just a reality.
You know, so it you know, just because a nigga was in YI don't mean he was a real nigga or he was a solid, you know what I mean? And that's not to say the nigga probably wasn't a nigga that was out here thundering on the streets. He probably just wasn't no squabbler. I don't know, you know what I mean? Everybody's situation is different, so, you know. But, you know, it was certain niggas that was like, they ain't want no problems.
Now,
So
you speaking of their enemies, and at that time, if I'm correct, one of their enemies at the time was an ally previous to that and an ally right now, and that's the Harlems. They was getting into it with the Harlems at that time.
They was getting into it with the Harlems at that time, for sure.
So what was your encounters with the Harlems? Was they tripping, or was they just based on our history with our founder being the ex-Harlem? Did they know that, or did they know that?
And so at that time, I don't think there was even no Harlems up there. You know, where I was at, I was in Paso. And so it wasn't no Harlems up there at that particular moment. But they did come towards the end. But them niggas was on the NHBs that was up there so hard that we ain't even run into the confrontation.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, and it was literally, you know, when I was on my way out the door, you know what I mean? On my initial, first bid I did in El Paso, you know what I mean? So, you know, I was on my way out the door and they was coming in, but you know, it was a couple 20 niggas there, so they was reaching out, they were hollering about that, you know what I mean? Because I think that arch enemy went a little bit deeper than the 40s, you know, beef that they had at the time.
So you get out in what year? 2000. What's going on in the hood in 2000 when you get out? What homies was around at that time?
The same homies that was there when I left. You know what I'm saying?
Keys? Apologies.
Nah, I don't find no keys, but I'm recording something.
Okay, sorry.
It wasn't no the same homies for the most part. You know what I mean? 2000s, early 2000s. Nah, it was a few young homies out there. You know what I mean? That was my first time meeting. You know what I mean? You know, I don't know if 211 was up and booming, but I think they was on their way. You know but I know some of the niggas was there.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you about that, cause I remember. Obviously, I wasn't from the hood yet.
No, yeah. You know what? So it's a little blurry for me because I didn't stay out that long. So I just know. Remember, I was telling you, like, you know, well, with the conversation we didn't have before, it's like, you know, I was going in and out, catching violations like a motherfucker, right? So, you know, all that kind of like bleed together.
Right.
Like I would catch a VIO, come home for a year, or go do a year violation, come back home. You know what I mean? So in that 2000s, it was some young homies that was, yeah, they was for sure there.
All right, so this is what I know about it. I think the initial idea was around 98, 99, and it was actually the homies and the West Side. Now, at some point, the homies just took it like, nah, we not finna have no, because you know you got certain sections that got cliques within multiple gangs, like Skyline got GPM, but that might be O'Farrell too, and Parkside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think I don't know what the Brims and Lincoln had, but they got certain stuff. You know what I mean? So that's what it was at that time. Everybody thugging with each other. Now, I think Young Lo went to YA. And when Young Lo got out, while he was in YA, it kind of fizzled out. And then when he got out, he started pressing it again. And then so did my brother, Joker, Baby G. They start pressing it again. So it was there, but it wasn't.
Right. Yeah.
Now, there's something else that I heard that I already asked you about. The 40 glove.
Right.
Are you responsible for bringing the 40 glove to the hood? To the San Diego homies, you know what I mean? Was that something you saw on YA?
I didn't see it in YA, but my dog in YA was from Gear Gang. And Glove used to be like, nigga, nigga, that 40 glove. And I'm like, oh, that 40 glove is cracking. I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? And so yeah, I did. But the LA 40s is the ones that had it.
They was already doing it,
They
yeah.
was already pushing the 40 glove. You know what I mean?
I seen pictures of they homies already from like the 80s and 90s with that hat on.
40 glove, yeah. But bringing it to the turf, yeah, I brought it to the set. Yeah, you know what I mean? And I was so avid with it. And, you know, I was able to find powder, you know, because at that time I wore powder blue, you know what I mean? So I was finding powder blue 40 hats and all that, you know, because that was one of their original colors was powder blue and yellow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the
Blue,
old
you know
one.
what I mean? So that's the old one. So I was able to find all that, because at that time that was the throwback era. You know what I mean? So they all throwback hats and jackets and all that other shit, you know what I mean? So yeah, I was able to find all that, yeah. So yeah, I brought that to the turf though for sure.
All right, so how long did you stay out from 2000? I know you was catching violations, or I know you said you caught a case and ended up going to the county.
Yeah, so I came home in 2000, I caught a violation. My first violation on White Grove. So I went to the county, they COP'd me. I went to board from the streets, and they gave me 90 days on house arrest. So I had the ankle monitor, I had a 6 o'clock curfew. So shit, I was out here to set, and shit, 6 o'clock. I used to hang on 4-7, I'd run to the house. It was 5:55. Break to the pad, get to the pad, you know what I mean? And shit, that was it. It really wasn't nobody really coming through. I just had the monitor on there, so they was tracking me like that. So did the 90 days. That was in 2000. Did the 90 days, and then caught the violation for being with 2 C's. I went to fire camp. Back to fire camp, and did a year fire camp.
All right, now you're part of a certain clique, or you know what I mean, and
Sure.
that clique is the Young 40s. Now, who was responsible for that clique, the name, and who was the original people that was there when y'all came up with that?
I was the mastermind. Young fucking Crip. You know what I mean? My road dog, obviously, you know what I mean? Everything I gave, you know, everything I came up with, I kicked it to him, you know what I mean? But it's my ace in the hole, so I mean, whatever I was loving, he was liking, you know what I mean? Liking, he loved, you know what I mean? So, you know, but the original, you know, so yeah, I came up with the name, and we pressed it. And so, you know, I guess you could say it was handpicked. So, you know, based on it being handpicked, and the whole reason for the whole clique situation, which whether it was right or wrong, looking back on it, I got mixed thoughts on it. You know what I mean? Because it did bring decision in the set. You know what I mean? Splitting shit. You know what I mean? But you know, at the time, everybody that came on the set, if he was a young nigga, he was an LC. You know, and at that time, we turned up. We bouncing. You know, we doing our duck. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, niggas is like we might separate ourselves. Nigga, if you can just get put on the set today, and you an L,
Right.
like, nah. You know what I mean? We gonna have to separate something, nigga. We ain't just doing. We ain't just in the set.
Right. And I think that's why Rasset said they ended up putting OL on it because everybody was a LC.
Because you was a young nigga.
Right.
So it's only YCs and LCs.
Right.
And G homies. You know what I mean? So, you know, it was like, shit, because everybody an L nigga. Like, shit, we might do a little more to be this. You know what I'm saying? And so, that was the mentality at that time. You know what I mean? I was 14. You know what I mean? We start pushing this envelope. You know what I mean? Because me and Cuz linked up about 95 when I AWOL from the group home. That's who I was with every day.
So the YFCs go back to 95.
Yeah.
All right. So you
Really
said
hit the ground by 96. It was homies. By the 96, it was L homies like what's up with this? And I'm like, yeah, nah, nigga, this is what we pushing. You know what I mean? So yeah, by 96 it was full. It was already full fledged.
It was established.
Conversation. Yeah, it was like nigga, what's up? I'm like, yeah, nah, this is what we pushing, bro. You know what I mean? And so yeah.
Now you said it was hand picked. Now, can you tell me some of the hand picked ones? Because
Dice, Ski Rock, myself, Young Stick, Crippin, J-Lo. You know what I mean? And it was based on niggas' activities, the willingness to do, you know, the shit we was with. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and it wasn't, that's not to say that everybody wasn't doing that.
right, that was just y'all little crowd of homies that was doing it together.
I mean, this was the criteria. If you wasn't with that, stay where you at. You was cool with that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's what it was, period.
All right, so at what point, like you said, you was in and out, you was doing violations. I'm gonna get to the 2004 in a second. At what point did you meet my brother, which is Tiny Stick?
Yeah.
At what point did you meet him, and what did you see?
Period. You know what I mean? It was crazy, homie, because I had met him, but he was kind of like in the cut a little bit and quiet, right? And so I didn't really rap with him too much because he was quiet, you know what I mean? And so, but I was heavily involved with the young homies. Like, that was just me, you know what I mean? Like, I was with a generation before me, and then so when my generation really got on board, that was my generation that I was in, and then when I came home from YA, like I automatically gravitated to the young homies, you know what I mean? Because I had big homies that did me like that, you know what I mean? And I don't think it was because they gravitated towards me, but more so I gravitated towards them. But you know, I just want to keep this thing pushing. You know what I mean? The way it was supposed to be pushed, or how I felt. You know, the big homies. You know, by my perception and my history, and being in the streets and being in the set, how I felt like the set was pushing. Like, I tried to uphold those standards. You know what I mean? So when I met them, that's what it was. But it was crazy because Bully actually hit me up like, hey, like, but me and Bully had a little more of a relation than me and TS, because Bully Pops, my G homie, the flyest Crip that I ever know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, way ahead of my time, you know what I mean? But he was the flyest Crip to me, you know what I mean? And so, and a real big homie though, you know what I'm saying? And so he was like, hey, cuz, he was like, homie trying to press the name, cuz. And I'm like, who's C? And he like, yeah, for sure, you know what I mean? And it was crazy, there was a few other young homies when I came home that was, you know, inquired. I'm like, nah, this is a tall task right here, homie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we pushing. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, yeah, that's how me and Cuz looked up with the Boogie. Boogie like, nigga, bro, trying to press this. Shit. I ain't got nothing. Ain't no backlash behind it. You know, everything been, you know, A1.
Right. So 2004 roll around, and you catch the long term.
Yeah.
You care to explain what that was about?
Shit. Came home off the violation in 2000. Came home 2001 off the White violation. I caught a dope case. Did 15 months in George Bailey. Got out off of that. You know what I mean? Was on probation. A dope gang, GSU probation. And I'm on wide roll, both at the same time. And I started busting my little OT move. You know what I mean? And so pushing OT. And that's what kept me out. I was out of town. You know what I mean? So I come back with my Dougie. You know what I mean? And I stayed gone. You know what I mean? And so it's taking a 6-hour flight. And be gone Monday through Friday. Come back maybe Saturday, Sunday. You know what I mean? And I'll get back on that plane. You know what I mean? So that kept me out. So long story short, yeah, I caught the Fed case, man. I had caught another case while I was out, while I was going OT. And I ended up catching a weed case in Baltimore that I was out on bail for. You know what I mean? Transition left there because I was fighting the case. I went to Cleveland. I got caught with some water, some PCP. And shit, went to the feds off of that. You know what I mean? So that 11 years, 8 months. The feds, 140 months. That's what it equals out to.
Right.
40 month sentence.
Now, when you heard 140 months, because I asked Lackey the same thing when he was like, they gave him 300 and some months, and he was like, it didn't even hit him till later on. He, you know what I mean? Like, I think he said his mom added it up or something. Like, that's 30 years. When did you realize they just smacked you with over a decade?
I knew it off the dribble because I knew because it was so close to 120. 120 is 10. You know what I mean? So I just knew I had 20 more months more than 100 than 10. You know what I mean? So, you know, it was just kind of like, fuck it, let's go, run it. Because, you know, we was actively crippling, so like niggas was throwing stones at the penitentiary with life sentences.
Right.
So like at the time, I'm like, nigga, I'm gonna eat this. It's 11-8, nigga, run it. And that's how I felt. Like honestly, in my heart of heart, I was like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like I was prepared for it. You know what I mean? Cause I was already gelling. You know what I mean? Been in and out of jail since I was 13. So like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I had to, go through the rest of my life in that motherfucker behind this Crip shit. So it wasn't too far off. You know what I mean? So I'm like, fuck it.
All right, so you get the 11 years. What was the first institution you hit?
I was in Ohio, so you know what I mean, bullshit moving around in that little spot. They had me in the county jail. Then they sent me to I forgot what the motherfuckers is called, but it's like a private prison, like little situation like that. And then the first institution, once I got my time, I went to Herlo, Northern California. You know what I mean? It was by Reno, Nevada, by Susanville, same area. You know what I mean? So that was the first spot I landed. Was Herlo. And it was a newly built prison. So like, you know, all the units wasn't even open yet. They hadn't even filled that motherfucker up yet.
All right, so when you get there, what was it like? Like as far as like the dynamics in the political makeup and all that? Because, like you said, you had never really been to the state. You had been to the county, so you know, in our county it's more, you know, racial, like as far as the pen. But what was it like getting to the feds? Was that racial dynamic still there? And now you running into people from other states, other blacks, whether they be Crips, Bloods, GDs, whatever the case is. What was that like?
Yeah, it was weird. So like even when I was in Ohio, you know, it was niggas in there, and you know, so now I got a wide background. You know what I mean? So, you know, wide probably ain't the same as the state, but it got a lot of similarities. You know what I mean? In some instances, but you know, so it was just weird. Like niggas was asking me like, hey, like you blood or you low? I'm like, nigga, I'm a Crip. Nigga, who the fuck is a low? Nigga, like I don't even know what the fuck that is. Nigga, like I'm a Crip. You know what I'm saying? So that was weird to me, homie. You know what I mean? And so, but this was on the East Coast or Midwest, right? And so when I get to Herlong, his homies there. And homies, I mean just Crips. You know what I'm saying? Because in the feds, it kind of boils down to where you at. You know what I mean? When you say homies. You know what I mean? So like in Ohio, the homies is just California niggas. You know what I'm saying? Wherever you from, because we so short out there, and it's a nigga, whether he a Damu, whether he a Crip, whether he a Bay Area nigga, you know what I mean? Whatever, he the homie, because you show. Now you get to California, now you start to get the division. You know what I mean? Crips, Bloods, you know what I mean? Bay, you know what I mean? Shit like that. You know what I mean? You get further south, where this Crippin' and Blood is thick, you get even more decision. You know what I mean? The neighborhood card, you know what I mean? All the different cards.
Right.
But like Herlong was only like 80 deep. So it was just the Crip card. You know what I mean? You might get down to Victorville or some shit like that. You might have just 80 neighborhood niggas. So.
Right, by itself, yeah.
You know
so
I mean?
it just depends on where you at in the push and the politic can change.
It changes. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And so, you know, got to Herlong, it was 80 homies. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but by that time, I had been out of town a little bit, so, you know, my thought process was a little different. You know what I mean? Like, I was more into, you know, fucking with real niggas. I ain't really give a fuck where you was from. You know, I'm from Foley's. That was well established, you know what I mean? But you know, I fucked with whoever I fucked with whoever. You know, it didn't matter. You didn't have to be a neighborhood nigga for me to fuck with you. You know what I mean? Or a Dago nigga.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because some of them will be suckers or just weirdos.
For sure. So, you know, that's how it evolved for me. Because like some of my dogs was from the gangster corps. You know what I mean? One of my dogs was from West Covina, you know what I mean? So, you know, it translated out, you know, that was my rifle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, shit. Once we got to the feds, it kind of was based on that, bro. Yeah. Shit. But it was cool. You know, it showed me a lot. Well, definitely not the state, but niggas pushing lines in that motherfucker too.
Right.
So, you know, from everywhere. You know, one thing, you know, that motherfucker taught me is real niggas from everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, they ain't all from where I'm from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's busters where niggas is from.
Right.
You know, obviously, nigga, everywhere, somewhere got a snitch or a nigga that went out or whatever the situation is. So, you know, that was what the feds showed me more than anything. Was like, it's real niggas everywhere. And it's a whole lot of snitching. That's what it taught me more than anything. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I went from a medium, Herlong, to a low, blind pot, and, you know, I never seen everybody black and white, you know what I mean? Because in the medium, we was pressing similar to like, you know, you need that work. You know? So
I heard the feds is more when it comes to that paperwork, like, especially among blacks, where it's more of a press. You're gonna have to show what you in there for.
Yeah. And so by the time I made it there, it's called a PSI. And so by the time I made it there, they was taking your PSIs. Because niggas was getting dogged for being foul. Getting pressed for being foul. So
Is that the paper that Lackey showed?
Yeah. So I have my PSI, but they make you send it home. And so the way to get around that is you gotta go get your judgment and commitment. Or you go and get your docket sheet. So what your docket sheet does is every time anything's been submitted in the courts, every time every motion that's being filed, every motherfucking court hearing from the time it started to the time it ended, their docket sheet is gonna say that. Every time something's been submitted on your behalf in that court system, it goes in your docket sheet. And so from the time it started, from the indictment, all the way until sentencing, and even after sentencing, because niggas tell after they get sentenced. You know what I mean? So it's two ways to snitch in the feds. You know what I mean? And I know this because nigga, I was pressing paperwork heavy. You know what I mean? Nigga, I ain't, you know, the niggas I fuck with, nigga, we was, and so by that time it was kind of like, who you fuck with, they paperwork was straight. When it was 80 homies. But niggas was still getting ran up top if your shit was foul. You know what I mean? If you was foul, but you know, but whether niggas was pushing it or not, the niggas I ran with, here you go, homie. You know, I don't need to look over it with you. No nothing. Here you go. Take it, read it like a book. Take it to your cell. You know what I mean? That's how
study it.
Yeah, it was 100. Wasn't no flaws in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, you know, in the feds they got a 5K1, which means you told. You know, and then, but a nigga can get away. And so that was kind of where the PSI kind of became blurry with Lackey Gang. Because you could go tell and not be a 5K1. You could be a Rule 35, which is another way to snitch. A Rule 35 is, say me and you on the case together, I get gaffled. Or say we ain't on the case together. I get gaffled and I tell them, but you ain't never got cracked. 8, 9 years down the line, you get cracked. I already had a dub. 10 years, whatever. Say I got a dub, 15. 8 years later, you get cracked. You in the holding cell, getting ready to go to trial, whatever, and you see me down there, you like, come shot. Not knowing the whole time I'm here to bust your head. This the Rule 35 part of it. You know what I mean?
So that's like a confidential informant.
Yeah.
All right.
But you don't, and so you might take a deal. So you would never even know I was down there to crack you.
Right.
Because it ain't gonna show. But I still get the time because you done got sentenced. They got a conviction. So I still get the time knocked off. So a nigga go back to, oh man, nigga, I'm going back to court. I don't know what the fuck I'm going back to court for. You know what you going back to court for. You finna go bust somebody's head, nigga. You know what I mean? Come back.
Right.
The nigga date done change.
Right.
Nigga went from having 15, nigga, you on your way out the door. Yeah, what happened? Shit, they knocked some time off, bro. What? You know, so the PSI is cool.
So unless you've been filing motions and stuff to go back to court,
be nothing else new in your docket.
Right. So if they just randomly come grab you one day and then you come back and all your time gone.
You had niggas going out to court acting like they caught new cases. The whole time you went back to go bust a nigga head on the old case.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that, you know, it was 5K1. That's you snitching on the nigga right there in the paperwork. It's gonna put in your judgment and commitment and all that. We the government, we are cool with a sentence reduction based on, you know, cooperation.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? So that's the PSI part. But nigga, you can get away from that because you might not say, nigga, I ain't doing none of that. You know what I mean? Because nigga in the feds, nigga, they was having third-party assistance. Niggas was having bitches bust niggas' heads. And niggas was getting time knocked off for it.
Yeah. The homie G-Boy, shout out G-Boy and Planet Zoo Entertainment. He told a story the other day on his channel where that happened in the state. Visiting room or whatever, white boy, the dude was on a visit with his girl, seen the white boy do something as far as, you know what I mean? And she told and got him some time knocked off. He got sent home. Then he came back again and they was pressing like, he let his girl tell he got to get up out of here. And you had other people like, well, as long as he stay out the way, he stay in the gym. They was pretty much condoning that, and that's some bullshit.
No bueno. Straight up.
That's all bad.
All bad, nigga. You know what I mean? And that was the coldest part about the whole situation is that, you know, you had niggas like that in there. Even niggas you might consider to be real or was solid and didn't tell on their case. You know, because the feds is so big, you might not run across none of your homies. So it's like, yeah, real homie that hit this motherfucker. Nigga I know from the street.
Right. And did you run across any homies in there?
Yeah.
What homies did you run across?
Shit, me and Dookie Day was cellies for a minute. You know what I mean? Me and another nigga. We was all there together. he came, his paperwork wasn't right. So niggas fired his shit up, niggas sent him up top. You know what I mean? And so that's what I mean. Like, a lot of the niggas on the yard was like, damn, cuz, like, but I was like, nigga, you ain't walking no yard with me.
Right.
You know, nigga. And I never seen the paperwork, but his PSI was faulty. Because in your paperwork, it's gonna say page 1 of 6, 2 of 6, 3 of 6, 4 of 6, 5 of 6, 6 of 6. Cuz shit say 1 of 6, 2 of 5. It's made up. Oh, nigga, hold up. Nigga, come to the yard, bro. You should have a crib meet.
Right.
Come out to the yard, nigga. Knocked him out, nigga. Woke up, told him shake the gate, nigga. You know what I mean? Shake that gate.
That's how you roll it up? You shake the gate on the yard?
Go up top. You know, and so, you know, in the feds, one of the key indications that something ain't right about a nigga, and it could be your homie. If your homie keep bouncing from pen to pen, it's because the nigga keep sending the nigga up top. That's what up top mean. Like, you going to the shoot or the hole until, you know, you might sit back there for 9 months, a year. You know what I mean? Waiting to go to another prison. You know, so if the nigga keep on moving, it's a problem. This nigga keep moving for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas hitting yours and your paperwork ain't clean. Because one thing with the feds, as big as that motherfucker is, it's that small too. Because this motherfucker's from everywhere. You know what I mean? Nigga, you could have did some foul shit, nigga, in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. And they make it all the way back to Victorville. So nigga gonna show up that was on the yard with you at some point in time and be like, niggas get to dissecting. Oh, yeah, nah, that's what it was, bro. You know what I mean? Or nigga, it might follow a nigga before he get there. Hey, such and such on his way. As soon as you get off the gate, niggas on it. As soon as you get off the bus, niggas on it. You know what I mean? It's shit like that. So as big as it is, it's that small too. Niggas is, you know what I mean? Niggas is in communication. You know what I mean? I leave, nigga, you still hit my bitch. You know what I mean? Hey, what's up with bro? He make it? Yup. Tell him such and such on his way down there. Right, for sure. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
So, yeah, it was like that. I mean, that motherfucker small, that motherfucker big, but it's small.
So how many different states did you hit?
I caught my case in Ohio, Cleveland. I hit California, which was Herlong. To get to Herlong, I went to Oklahoma. That's the transfer spot. Made it to Herlong. Left, did 3 and some change in Herlong. Went to Lompoc. Did like a couple years in Lompoc. And then I made it to camp. You know what I mean? And in camp, I was in South Dakota. I did like 4 years, 3.5 years in South Dakota.
God damn.
Form. You know, camp is the spot to be at, because in camp you able to do, you wiggle.
Right.
I mean, you can do some things in camp.
Right.
And I'm like, nigga, it's just my luck. Nigga,
South Dakota.
Camp and nigga,
Hey, they sent you to the wrong SD.
Right. I'm like, man, but it was crazy, right? Because even in Herlong, I was in California, but I still was a 10-hour push. I was like, nigga, I'm better off being in Phoenix.
Yeah. Yeah, Phoenix like 6 hours, 5.5.
Wasn't nobody kicking down no doors, no 10-hour drive. You know what I mean? You know, not on no regular shit. Motherfuckers wasn't doing all that cool out here and shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, shit, nigga, 10 hours, nigga, that was a real trip.
Right.
You know, coming back off income tax money and shit like that to, you know, save up for these trips and road trips and all that shit. You know what I mean? Like, so
right.
Yeah, it was, you know, and I did that. I walked that motherfucker off, you know, had to walk it off. You know what I mean? But yeah, South Dakota where it ended for me.
Okay, so you said you did the last 4 in South Dakota. You come home in 2014.
Yeah, 14.
All right. What was that like? What was that like coming home after 10 years?
I was slow, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't in no spot where they had cell phones, and, you know, so I wasn't up on the social media.
So you were stuck in 2004.
Yeah. I wasn't on no social media. I wasn't really, you know, when I left, nigga, we was still working off Nextels in the church.
Right.
I ain't know nothing about it.
I think them chirps was new.
The church was new then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I had got a cell phone on my way, on the way home, and ran out of minutes, had a prepaid one. And so I finally called right before it was finna be up, and I was like, man, I ain't got no more minutes. And so BM put some more minutes on the phone, and she called, right? Because she did the number and all that. So she put the minutes on her side. So she called me, and I'm like, hey, I gotta hurry up and hang up with you. She's like, why? I'm like, the minutes finna run. I told you, the minutes finna run out. She's like, nigga, you think I just called? Nigga, like, I put more minutes on there. I was that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That slow, nigga. I ain't even real. I'm like, oh, damn, you right, huh? Like, nigga, I ain't even supposed to be talking to you right now. Yeah, I was behind, bro. I was in a time warp, my nigga. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, just having bread in my pocket, nigga, felt cool, because, nigga, 10 years, nigga, I ain't had no cash in my pocket. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I was slow.
So, did they release you from South Dakota, or is it a different process? Like,
they release you.
Oh, they release you from right there, and then what? Did you get on the
bus.
you got on the bus?
Got on the bus, yeah.
Man, how long that take?
Oh no, shit. I got on the bus. I forgot where I made it to. I think I made it to Arizona, and Pops came and got me. Pops came and got me, so I could do my little Dougie real quick, wiggle a little bit before I went to the halfway house. You know what I mean? Got to the halfway house and shit. You know, that was the one thing with the feds, is that they transition you a little better. They don't just send you straight to the pad.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you go to the halfway house, which motherfuckers don't want to be there, but for a lot of motherfuckers it was cool, because it was able to transition.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because shit, nigga, I'm just speaking for myself. Yeah, I felt the difference, nigga, when I went to the pad, like shit, nigga. Everything I ate, nigga, was out my pockets. I mean, you in the halfway house, nigga, you can come back, nigga, it might be like, what they eating in there? Yeah, fuck it, I'll go get it. You know what I mean? Nigga, shit, we got to that home confinement. Everything was out the pocket.
Right. Like, you start seeing it go down.
Oh yeah, not fast. I was like, oh, this chunky. Like, it was so crazy. I was on a home pass, and I had to take a piss, bro. And I couldn't find nowhere to pee. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, I'm on Imperial. I'm in the West. I'm like, damn, I ain't trying to put my dick out nowhere. So I'm like, fuck. And so I'm going to spots. I'm like, man, can I use your bathroom? They like, nah. I'm like, damn. They like, it's a bathroom in there. It's a laundromat, like 20-something in Imperial.
Yeah.
Right? And I went to in the laundromat, nigga, I was like, nigga, it cost $1, nigga, to piss. You know, because they had the little coins you had to put in there.
Yeah, you better than me. I'd have went to that alley.
Shit, but, you know, at the time, I'm just like, nigga, I ain't trying to, you know.
Yeah, you ain't trying to do nothing.
I ain't trying to do shit, nigga. I'm moving. And it's crazy, you know, because the first homie I ran into, nobody even knew, niggas had heard I was home, but didn't nobody know. And the first nigga I seen was Billy.
Oh, yeah?
Hell yeah. He's like, nigga hit me with a big chunky C, and I'm like, man, who this big ass Samoan nigga? I'm looking up like, what's up, homie? But it was that long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was that long since I had seen him.
Right. He used to be skinny.
He was a kid.
Right.
I mean, he wasn't 18.
Yeah, I think he was like 16, because he a year older than me.
Right. So
he's like 17.
Right. You know, but he was young. And so that's how I left him. You know what I mean? And so when I seen him, I was like, and he had a red C hat on. You know what I mean? So I'm like, that's weird right here. Like, you know what I mean? But when I seen him, I'm like, I don't know who the fuck that is. Like, I thought nigga was like, you know, trying to bend on me like, oh,
right.
We got one. So I'm like, nigga, I banged, but I'm like, who the fuck is this nigga? So he hopped out on me. I'm like, damn, bro. I'm like, nigga, what's happening? But nobody had seen me yet.
Yeah.
Like, nigga, I was just wiggling, but I wasn't in the trenches. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, it was crazy. You know what I mean? That was the first homie I ran into. Bully,
and then I know he put the word out.
Yeah. But once he did it, I had to tap in.
Right. Because he got your number, huh?
Yeah. I'm like, let me tap in, like, you know, because I was just trying to move and just establish myself, homie. You know what I mean?
And take care of what you got to take care of without getting sidetracked. Yeah. Because the homies is a distraction. Yeah. Let's just be honest.
Well, shit, just getting caught up in that lifestyle, period. It was like, you know, I was in the brims. That's where the halfway was out.
Yeah.
Was at. So nigga, I'm wiggling. I'm like, nigga, every time I come up, pop out of this motherfucker, I'm like, nigga, you know what I mean? And really don't know, cause I ain't caught up with what's going on in the world. You know what I mean? Like, nigga, I was really disconnected. You know what I mean? Nigga, being in South Dakota, I ain't had no blower. You know what I mean? As far as no horn, you know what I mean? I ain't had none of that. Like, so I wasn't in contact. You know what I mean? Like, my selected few, you know what I mean? I was chopping it with, but like, I just wasn't in the midst of everything that was going on in the set, so like I ain't know a whole lot of niggas. I ain't know what was going on out there, you know what I mean? So, you know.
And like you were saying before we started this, you were saying that that term you felt like saved your life.
Yeah, for sure. And the reason I say that is because nigga, I was just moving reckless. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, I was you know, picking up packages. You know what I mean? I was just living how I wanted to live, homie. I ain't never really been into drugs like that, but I wasn't living right, healthy, nothing. I wasn't doing nothing. I mean, I was just like nigga living every day. You know what I mean? So, you know, it was like shit. You know, I know if I was within that 10, you know, and then in the process, nigga, you know, within that 10, I lost my little sister. So, you know, I know that outcome, and I know my mentality. That outcome, dribble, nigga. I wasn't finna go home.
Right.
You know, it was gonna have to end either me dying or somebody dying.
And that probably would have snowballed into something bigger that probably would still be going on. Because I never knew that was your sister, bro, until like I think bro had told me like maybe a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like on 40. I'm like, I did not know that.
Yeah. And the crazy part was is like when I left, nigga, she was like living with me. You know what I mean? Like I was raising her, homie, you know what I mean? Because her pops at the time, he had a life sentence, 3 strikes. You know what I mean? So like, you know, she was living with me. Right. Like, this is like my sister / daughter.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean that shit changed my whole outlook on life, bro. Keeping it 100. You know what I mean? Like I had always been on the other side. That situation.
Yeah, and then
and now I was on the flip side. I was like, oh, you know what I mean? And it made me realize, like, even today, like, nigga, we still, you know, like every holiday, every birthday, Valentine's Day, we going, we gotta go see her, you know. And it changed my perception on even how it was with banging. Like, you know, nigga go across town and go knock something down, nigga feel like, oh, nigga got one. The niggas gonna feel that. For how long though? Like really, the only motherfuckers that feel it like
is
my
the family.
Is the family, bro. Cause like, nigga, I don't know where her friends are. I'm not saying she don't have none or don't know none of them show up, but like the only motherfuckers I know that go there is me and my mom and my sisters and my family, our family. You know what I mean?
You know, my god sister was real close to her. She still posts about her all the time.
I know you talking about.
Yeah,
right, yeah,
she always
exactly,
posts about her every year.
Yeah,
that's
so,
crazy.
And so what was so crazy is that it made me realize like. The set, whatever set you from, they replace you. It's another nigga that's gonna come. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, that was the.
And that goes back to what we were saying. That's why you can't try to keep up, nigga. The hood gonna replace everybody. Hood gonna replace everybody, homie. I don't give a fuck how fly you was, how hard you was, how many niggas you knocked out, how many niggas you shot. Somebody gonna come along and replace you, bro. And it's just that simple.
Yeah, no, for sure. They gonna set gonna produce a whole bunch of you, a whole bunch of me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, it is what it is. You know, we still where we from. It is what it is, but that's the reality of it. You know what I mean? Like, a nigga can't replace. That's my sister. Can't replace her. It ain't gonna nobody gonna come in the picture.
Right.
And be like, nigga, oh, that's little sis. Nah, that ain't not like that. I got other sisters too. You know what I mean? But like, she can't be replaced.
Right.
For her, my mama, nobody. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know. So that's the reality of it. You know what I mean? That I see today because I was on the flip side of it. You know what I mean?
Now, what was not to get too much into that, but was she just at the wrong place, wrong time, or was she?
From the way it seemed like it, you know what I mean? Like, cause she wasn't the only one that got killed. You know what I mean? Like somebody else got killed too. You know what I mean? So I wasn't there, so I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You know, I just know that. But you know, like I know karma, bro. You know what I'm saying? On my mama, bro, I had to look that motherfucker in the face, homie. You know what I'm saying? Cause, you know, like we talked about in the interview, nigga, I took 3 of them. Still here. You know, she took 1. She gone. But I gotta live with it though. Like, nigga, this is all the bullshit you was pushing. Meaning me. This was all the activities you was with, homie. Where that motherfucker come back full circle. That's my reality of this shit, homie.
Right.
When it's 100, that's my reality of this lifestyle, bro. It's like, nigga.
And that's what I always tell people, man. Karma ain't got to hit you. Karma could hit somebody next to you.
Well, it's gonna hit you because you gonna have to.
Yeah. It still hurts you,
right.
but it don't. They don't necessarily have to physically hit you. You know what I mean? Like,
no, for sure. No, for sure.
and that's crazy. That's why people gotta watch what they do, homie, because eventually you gonna have a son, you gonna have a daughter, you got a sibling.
Yeah.
Motherfucker might come and bust on you
Yeah.
and hit them, or not even necessarily come to. They can come strictly to harm your little brother or your little sister, because some people ain't got no filter.
Yeah.
Some people ain't got no shame or no morals, and they just like,
Yeah.
oh, that's his little brother. He's 7 years old, and pop him.
Yeah. No, that energy is real, bro. You know what I mean? Like, the energy you put out, and you don't never know how it's gonna come back. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't gonna come back the same way you gave it, in the sense of it boomeranging back to you. It's just gonna boomerang back to you, but not back to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, that was like I gotta live with that every day. Like, nigga, it's the same shit. You promote it, nigga, year in and year out, day in and day out, nigga. You know what I'm saying? And that motherfucker swang right back, nigga. It was like, you know, and nigga, I had to kiss that motherfucker, bro. You know, that's my reality, bro. That's my reality 100. Like, ooh, you know what I mean? And so, you know, now I'm the nigga on the other side having to see somebody mama cry. You know what I'm saying? My mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know. But when you bang, you don't.
You ain't thinking about that.
It's just like, nigga, them niggas just took a hit. Now, you just think about they hood. You know what I mean? Wherever that nigga from, like, oh, they took a hit, bro. That's
Right.
cool. You know what I mean? But low key, I mean, that nigga mama took a hit. You know what I mean? That nigga
Right.
family took a hit. Nigga son and daughter took a hit. Like right now, nigga knocked me down. Oh, nigga such and such. You know, but shit. Nigga, like I said, the second replace me, my daughter can't get a new dad. I mean, I don't give a fuck who come in the picture.
Right.
It's her. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Both of them. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, that's the reality of it, though. But, you know,
That comes with growth, because motherfucker don't even think about that when you younger and you know what I mean?
yeah, no, for
Nigga
sure.
don't even think about that.
Nah,
That's crazy.
yeah, that's 100, man.
All right, so you come home, you got to live with that. You got to live with all the decisions you done made. You just walked off 10. Like you said, you ran into Bully, and now you back tapped in with homies, and now you meeting a whole new generation of homies. You know what I mean? Including myself. But I got out a year after you. I got out in 2015. But I had always heard so much about you, not only through my brother, but through other homies. You know what I mean? So now you meeting more homies. What's that like? Because you said you met a particular homie, and he kind of found himself in a situation to where now he in the feds. You know what I mean?
Right.
You had just got out the feds,
Yeah.
and now the homie is doing time in the feds. So what was that like, meeting him and other homies?
It was fucked up because I saw me. You know what I mean? And so, like, I really grew fond of fast. You know what I mean? Like, all of them though. Like, nigga, it's where I'm from. It's from me. You know what I mean? And so, like, I loved them, homie. And so, it was a, you know, even from a perspective like being in the set, because I'm a real nigga. And everybody say they a real nigga. You know what I'm saying? You know, but I'm saying it from a real perspective as a homie, bro. Like, I used to tell niggas, bro, like, in my heart, if I say I love you, cuz, like, I done bounced across them tracks, and I know the odds ain't always favorable.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a chance you might not come back. And what I mean by that is that it could be 10 months down the line when they come get you, you still didn't make it back across some tracks.
Right.
I mean, because you gone now, right?
Right.
And so I tell niggas, like, how can I say I love you, but I'm telling you to throw it all away. Put everything you love on the line, bro. In my heart, I couldn't do it. I couldn't. And so I used to tell niggas, homie, like I tell myself, bro, like, you do what's in your heart.
Man,
You know what
come
I mean?
on. Didn't I just tell you that?
And so, and the reason I say that is because you get so many homies that catch a case and be bitter, bro.
They hate the homies now. They hate the set.
But if you do it for you and what's in your heart, you have to live with it, my nigga. You know what I mean? And so it was for me coming home, and now my role was a little bit different, you know, where I kind of had, you know, a connection with niggas. You know what I mean? You know, because like as the generations go, you start to lose the connection.
Right.
Like Niggas coming off the porch today, like if I ain't out there doing what they doing and socking niggas out and packing niggas out and knocking niggas down and busting and whatever, I don't know, whatever they do, whatever you do, gang banging, period. They don't really give. They like, nigga, fuck is you?
Not knowing what you did for this motherfucker.
Right.
And that's the crazy part. Like, I'm not finna tell cuz to go, you know what I mean? However, if you are gonna go do whatever and you come to me, I could, you know, put my 4 cents in. But like you said, as far as getting disconnected from the generations, the ones up under him, them is the last ones I really know.
Right.
I don't really know the other ones. I seen their face, but the ones up under him is the last ones that I had a connection with. You know what I mean? And it's only gonna become a bigger gap as you get older and time goes on. And it's not that I don't want to know niggas or whatever, because if I see him, I'ma embrace him. It's just I got other shit going on.
No, I mean for me, and you'll experience later on down the road. But like for me, my daughter 24. I got a daughter that's 24, bro. I had a daughter when I was 17, right? So like, the reality of it is like, damn, nigga, like I'm talking to a nigga really, in some instances younger than my daughter. Like, nigga, I wouldn't want nobody to give my daughter no fucked up advice. You know what I mean?
Right.
And mislead her.
Right.
And so, nigga, why the fuck would I do this? Because now here it is again. It's karma, right? You know what I mean? Now I done lived it. I done danced with this motherfucking bitch now, so I understand it. And so, like, I tell niggas, bro, you just gotta do this in your heart, my nigga. Because I'm saying the same thing, you know? Because one thing I realize is, right now today, if I go do something and I get caught, they gonna be like, man, that nigga stupid as fuck, bro. That nigga threw it all away.
Every time you get caught, you stupid.
Right.
Every time you get away, you the hardest nigga ever.
And if a nigga
and there ain't no exceptions.
Right. And then if a nigga don't do nothing, you a buster.
Yep.
Your whole career is over.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
One thing about it, nigga, the streets don't give a fuck about you. Nigga, the streets gonna eat you up.
And the streets is undefeated.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? That's what I realized. You know what I mean? And so, you know, at the end of the day, you gotta do what's in your heart. Whatever you can lay down with, that's what you gotta, you know, and for me, what I realize is that it's certain codes and certain standards that I live by and I'm gonna die by. You know what I mean? So, like, I ain't gonna never tell. And so to counter that is I ain't gonna put myself in situations to where I ain't gonna put myself in that situation, right?
Right.
You know, so because I already know what the end result is. The end result is I'm gone forever.
That's all day.
So certain things I just, you know, the only thing I would change is that I wouldn't put myself in that situation today, as opposed to, you know, years down the line. And I say that with a conscious thought. I say that intellectually, right? But I don't know what'll happen in the split of a second. Like I know what I want to do. I know what I should do. But shit, who knows what's in my heart at that moment in time? And I might throw it all away too.
Exactly. And like you said, that's why it's better to not put yourself in them situations, because I found myself in a situation not too long ago at a gas station where if the nigga would have got closer, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you.
Right.
Because it was it's already out.
Right.
Nigga walk up closer.
Right.
Over a misunderstanding.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and I was way out the way and that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you're not gonna see certain individuals like us just always, I'm not gonna be at the park every day. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna be hanging on the block every day. Because you gotta know what come with that, homie. And if you know what come with that, you gotta accept what come with that too. So
for sure. You know what I mean? So yeah. It's intricate. You know what I mean? And so, you know, you just gotta figure it out. You know, you gotta wiggle through that maze, man, and figure out what it is for you. You know what I mean? And you know, ain't to each his own. That's my word. You know what I mean? Each his own, man. You just gotta make it make sense. If it makes sense
that
to
part,
you, it makes sense to me. Fuck it.
That part, man. Well, I appreciate you coming through, man. Always a lot of good game talking to you, homie. I appreciate you supporting the platform, getting your story out there, because that was definitely something that people need to hear, homie.
Right.
You hit on some tough topics, homie. Karma. You hit on just, you know, what we just talked about, placing yourself in situations and knowing the outcome. Like, my point is not only because these are entertaining for people, you know what I mean? People be at work listening to stuff like this. But my point is to let people know that this ain't something you want to do. And if you do it, you got to know what come with it. You know what I'm saying? You got to jump off the porch ready for whatever happened. When you walk up out that door every day, homie, any of the experiences that you hear on this platform could happen to you. You know what I mean? So with that being said, man, it's your boy Hoodie from the Hood, aka your friend from that big old end. And that's my boy Lil Hoodie from the Hood. I don't care what he say. He didn't want to talk. That's Lil Hoodie Hood right there. He also your friend from that big old end. And this is my big bro, my homie, baby Crip Sticc, man. Like I said, I appreciate you, man. And until next time, Hoodlum gang, I'm out.